Check, check, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2, 3. Check, 1, 2, 3, 4. Check, 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 1, 2, 3. Check, 1, 2, 3, 4. Check, 1, 2, 3, 4. Check, 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 check. Check, 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 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Are we coming back out? Are we coming back out? Rob! Rob! Oh, sorry. My fault. I didn't know. I thought you didn't hear me. Sorry about that. Okay, is it 4 minute or 1 minute? Is it my main hit or just the 1 minute hit?
Leonard, is this a 4 minute or 1 minute? 4 minute or 1 minute?
4 minute or 1 minute, Leonard? Four minute or what am I doing?
Not answering.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, here at the 2025 Portsmouth Invitational Tournament live on WGNT. We are tipping off day 3 of what promises to be some exciting basketball action. Right now, we have the first game of the day. That's going to be between the two losing teams from last night, Roger Brown's Restaurant and Mike Duman, Inc. These two teams both looking for their first win of the tournament. This is the first of 3 games today. We have more coming at 7 o'clock and then one coming at 9 p.m. This is the penultimate day of the PIT. Now, we've been talking about how the PIT rosters are made up of players from all across the country, and that includes a handful from right here in Virginia. One of them is guard Joe Bamisil, suiting up for Team Portsmouth Sports Club this week. He's spent the last 2 years at VCU in his hometown of Richmond and leading the Rams to an Atlantic 10 championship this season. Bamisil happy with the individualistic season he's put together, as well as that team success. Now he's hoping to bring that same energy to his squad this week and says he's never been a guy that has any trouble helping a team come together. One minute left. Bamisil scoring 15 points and pulling down 7 rebounds in Portsmouth Sports Club's 81-75 win over Roger Brown's last night. And Bamisil and VCU ousted in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Some players here, however, had their college careers last another week or two. One of them is Julian Reese, number 24 right here behind me in gray. He was in Maryland, part of that Crab 5 that went to the Sweet 16. He's also part of a big basketball family. We caught up with him earlier this week, and he says part of this is to make a name for himself and show scouts he has what it takes to get it done. Do I toss to break after this, or? Yeah, Julian Reese putting together a strong season up at Maryland, and now looking to spark the next step of his career here at the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. Roger Brown's Restaurant right here looking for their first win. We have Mike Duman, Inc. down at the other end. Both these teams losing last night's contest, both looking for that first win today. Again, in front of 250 NBA scouts plus, so a lot of eyes on these players. Julian Reese looking to make a name for himself as he starts his pro career. It is going to be an exciting day of basketball basketball action. 3 games here at Churchland High School, starting with this one here at 3:15. Another one coming your way at 7 before the nightcap coming your way at 9 p.m. Those 2 late games will decide our championship contest, which will come your way tomorrow. So a lot decided here. We talked to Billy Mann yesterday, one of the coaches for Roger Brown. He said this is still about winning. The Scouts want to see that you have what it takes in those intangibles to get the win, not just put your showcase on for yourself. What can you do for your team? It's going to be a fun day of basketball. We're going to have more PIT on the other side of this break, live here on WGNT.
In front of hundreds of professional scouts, general managers, and agents. We greet you on this Friday in April on Easter weekend alongside Jordan Maka, Matthew Hatfield here for game number 6 of the 12-game marathon. So when this one's in the books, Jordan will be halfway through the 71st annual PIT here in 2025. Glad you're with us for this consolation matchup of sorts. You have in the white uniforms Mike Duman taking on Roger Brown's Restaurant in the gray, and we'll give you the starting lineups for each of these 2 teams as we begin things here. For Roger Brown's in the gray jerseys, as we watch a 3-point shot wide of the mark there from Wade Taylor the fourth. Roger Brown's team is starting the likes of number 4, Sebastian Thomas, a 6'1" guard from Rhode Island. Gonzaga's Khalif Battle wearing number 10. He's the 6'5" guard from Hillside, New Jersey. Terrence Edwards Jr., he wears number 14, 6'6" guard who played at Louisville out of Atlanta, Georgia. Obina Anachili Killen, he wears number 20 for Roger Brown's in gray, a 6'8" forward for Marshall out of Nigeria. There's a shot clock violation that waves off the dunk for Obina Anachili Killen, the Sun Belt Conference Defensive Player of the Year. And Julian Reese rounding out the starting 5. You heard Mark Davis talk about him moments ago. Number 24, the 6'9" forward from the Maryland Terps. As we look for our first basket, Jordan, Mike Duman's starting lineup with the 3-point shot drilled by number 23, Jamin Brinkfield, a 6'8" forward from Ole Miss. You have number 20, Samson Johnson, 6'10" center who played at UConn, part of back-to-back national championship teams for Danny Hurley's group. John Poulikitis, the 6'6" guard for Yale, wearing number 11. Number 10, Patrick McCaffrey, 6'9" forward from Butler, and Wade Taylor the fourth, number 7, as we mentioned, the 6'1" guard from Texas A&M. So early on here, lead belonging to Mike Duman. What do you expect from him in this game here, Jordan?
So I'm looking forward to seeing Brakefield. We saw a little basket from him earlier. I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit more. He handled the ball a lot yesterday, and I'm looking to see his in-between game, his three-point shot, and everything in the post as well.
Speaking of three-point shots, that is Terrence Edwards Jr. knocking it down. He scored 20-plus points in each of his final 4 games this past season for the Louisville Cardinals, including against Creighton in that NCAA tournament win. Ball is loose as it goes out of bounds.
How about you, Matt? What about Roger Browns? What's the key to their game today, you think?
Well, they lost by 6 yesterday to Portsmouth Sports Club. Had a 7-point first quarter lead. Got down by as many as 15. Battled back thanks to really solid free throw shooting, 15 of 16 on the day. I think it's going to be a matter of getting off to a better start and knocking down open shots as we watch one right there from straight away that is trained to break the tie. And it's Terrence Edwards Jr. with his second 3-ball. Made a bunch in his collegiate career. In fact, 162 as a member of the James Madison Dukes, where he was the Sun Belt Player of the Year, then finishing up at Louisville as that shot is good off the glass. The kiss from Say Edwards.
He's been great.
Edwards coming in off the bench out of Georgia State, 6'10" forward. His team had a rough one last night, got blistered 111-79 in our nightcap against Janet King. They gave up 18 made threes, only hit 3, but Edwards did lead them with 14 points in defeat as we near 7 minutes to go in this opening quarter.
Definitely one of the bright spots, Matt.
Brakefield can't get it to go off the glass. Rebound for Edwards. In the corner now, Brakefield for 3. That one's going to spin out. Rebounded inside for Roger Brown's group as Julian Reese is a force on the backboards. Steal there as Brakefield's able to come up with it. Chance in transition now for Mike Duman. And the lob is there for Samson Johnson, the Husky, hungry Husky, with the flush.
Early on, I like the pace here. I think that both teams are getting up and down.
7-6 lead in favor of Mike Duman.
I'd like to see more from Khalif Battle today. What are your thoughts, Matt?
5 steals, was really good on the defensive end, but just never got in a rhythm offensively. There are some times where he might be hunting or forcing some shots. Excellent point there by you, Jordan. It's Julian Reese. Juju with the dunk. We'll see if he can get more comfortable playing with some new teammates. He had a number of teammates during his college career, which began at Butler, then 3 seasons with the Temple Owls, 1 at Arkansas, and he finished up with the Gonzaga Bulldogs, WCC tournament champions who reached the round of 32 in this year's NCAA tournament. Here's Edwards with the basketball. Gives it up to Pulikitis in the corner. Great cut, and Edwards can't get the finish inside as it was altered by the defense for Roger Brown's crew. Loose on the floor, picked up by Pulikitis now. And there's the one-handed jam that's not finished by Brakefield, and it comes out to Sebastian Thomas. And a Chili Killen.
He's someone I want to highlight. I think he definitely needs more touches with the ball. He was very impressive in the first outing.
What a game he had defensively with the blocks, 4 rejections. He was the nation's shot block leader at nearly 3.2 per contest this past season for the Thundering Herd.
Not to mention he can stroke it from beyond the arc.
Pretty mobile for his size. Down low. Edwards face-up jumper is money. 9-8, Mike Duman goes in front as we're halfway through this opening quarter. Handling the basketball right now is Terrence Edwards, who had the first 2 threes for Roger Brown's restaurant. Wing three-pointer won't go down on this sequence. Deflection, nearly a steal as Sebastian Thomas got his mitts on it. And there's that wingspan of Chili Killen making something happen defensively and getting it to pay off on offense as they share the sugar. Thomas to Reese, and then Obina Chili Killen, the Nigeria native, scoring inside.
Beautiful 3-on-1.
How about his game, Jordan, in the Sun Belt Tournament quarterfinal loss against Arkansas State? They fell 77-74, but he had 26 points, 13 rebounds, 8 blocked shots, and meanwhile we watch Samson Johnson, who played in his fair share of big games, deliver at the other end.
Speaking of high-level athletes.
Gonna think about the corner three, little jab step. Lets it fly, can't get the shot to go down. Rebounded by Poulikitis. One of 2 Yale players in this event. Of course, last night his team fell to Ben Mbang and his squad. The Janet King squad that we will watch in our 9 o'clock nightcap this evening in the semifinals. On the move with the right hand, Sebastian Thomas with the hoop.
Beautiful move by Bassi. He's looked good early, looked more assertive.
Spent his first 2 seasons at Rhode Island, then went to Albany and returned to the Rams of Rhode Island for this past year. Three-pointer is short for Edwards, and Reese comes up with it.
One thing about him is that if you need a shot down the stretch, he's the guy to have it. I think he had 8 game winners this past season.
Incredible. Neither team has gone to the free throw line until now with 3 minutes even on our first quarter clock. And we'll take our first time out. Roger Brown's Restaurant on top of Mike Duman, 12-11. 2 more games to come on this Friday at the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament.
Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
Welcome back to the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament. Roger Brown's on top of Mike Duman. 12-11 with 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Alongside Jordan Maka, I'm Matt Hatfield. Pretty good start offensively for each squad in this one.
A lot of fast-paced play. Hoping to see the three-point shooting pick up, though.
A couple of free throws here for the guy in gray for Roger Brown's Khalif Battle. 1,818 points in his collegiate career. 14-11, Roger Brown's with the lead. Jemiah Neal checking in, and he gets rid of the basketball to his right. Breakfield's three-pointer won't go down, rebounded by Battle.
Battle's looking to push.
Battle goes all the way to the cup for 2. Khalif Battle making it 16-11 in favor of Roger Brown's. One dribble, trigger pulled on a long one from Patrick McCaffrey, whose father Fran, the New coach at Penn in attendance. He played for his dad at Iowa. And there's an authoritative dunk from Caden Shedrick, the 6'11" forward who spent his last 2 seasons with the Texas Longhorns out of Holly Springs, North Carolina. Getting it to go, plus he draws the foul.
This early offense, Mike Duman doesn't have an answer early on.
At the line to attempt the three-point play.
Fans in the Commonwealth once cheered for him when he played at UVA. Shedrick began his career there with 3 seasons for the Cavs. Relatively modest numbers this past season at 8.8 points, 6.1 rebounds per game, but
Like how he runs the floor, the presence he brings defensively as well.
he was primarily a backup at UVA in his role in preseason. The Longhorns of Texas made that transition from the Big 12 to the SEC. Meanwhile, Pulakidis with the tray ball. Is there an answer? Oh, Edwards' attempt spins out. Rebound comes to McCaffrey. On the move, 4-point deficit for Mike Duman. Make it one. Pulakidis with the 3 ball. Knocking it down.
Heating up.
Looking like a young Jordan Make in his prime, huh? 18-17. And actually killing. 1 dribble. And that one's going to be a foul on the opposition. It's going to go against Say Edwards.
Foul is charged to Mike Dumas, number 12.
I know you'll find this interesting. We got this. We have to give a shout out to Shane Baraner, who informed us last night of this nugget. AJ Hoggard, who's out there, the 6'4" guard wearing number 15 in gray for Roger Brown's restaurant. Former Michigan State guard who finished up with Vanderbilt, became the first player in the 71-year history of the PIT to play in this tournament twice. Not once, but twice. You say, wait a second, how is that possible? With seniors, we're going to explain in a second as that jumper is missed and rebounded by Samson Johnson and White for Mike Duman. The NCAA waivers and changes in the bylaw allowed Hoggard to return to school after competing in 2024. And of course, he had that switch in colleges from Michigan State to Vanderbilt. Thus, here he is playing in the PIT for a second time. He'll have that distinction for as long as he lives.
The only one, right?
And even beyond, when he's not here anymore, he'll have the distinction as that shot is good for Edwards to make it 19-18 in favor of Mike Duman. So he's the answer to a trivia question until the end of time here at the PIT.
Yes.
3-pointer won't go down for Kobe Johnson. Rebound for Pulakidis.
Looking to extend his hot shooting into this game.
Roger Brown's had a 7-point first quarter lead yesterday. They squandered one again here today. They'll need their defense to step forward as Pulakidis is able to attack, kick it out to Say Edwards, and he says yes on that 3 ball.
I really like the ball movement this game. It seems like Mike Duman's warmed up. Their chemistry is a lot better.
Nine points for Edwards in this opening stanza. Hoggard going on to dribble. Kicks it out, pump fake, 1 dribble. Shot and hoisted up, and it's going to be short for Terrence Edwards Jr., who had 6 points to lead Roger Brown's restaurant, but they trailed it by 4 after leading by as many as 7. We've got the second quarter coming your way from Churchland High in Portsmouth. It's the 71st annual PIT.
Let the experts at
Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
Second quarter underway from Churchland High School in Portsmouth for the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament, where you can see college basketball stars of today and the future stars of tomorrow in the pros right here in this venue. Alongside Jordan Maka, I'm Matt Hatfield. Our scorer, Mike Duman, incorporated on top of Roger Brown's Restaurant, 22-18 through one quarter of play. Drawing the foul, it's Jamin Brakefield, the 6'8" forward from Ole Miss, who began his college career at Duke. But it isn't too far from Brakefield because it felt like in yesterday's game, Jordan, he was doing a really good job of getting to the free throw line, and now here to start the second quarter, he looked like he has that mindset again of getting to the rack. Yeah,
he's been assertive early. He hit that three-pointer to start the game, and he's looked assertive, and I like the way he's getting in the lane. Speaking of getting in the lane, I'd like to see a little bit more from Jemiah Neal on Creighton. He's very dynamic attacking the basket.
Yeah, he really was quiet yesterday, but my goodness, what a game he had in the NCAA tournament against Louisville, as the second free throw is also no good, rebounded by Julian Reese. Neal spent 3 years at Arizona State in his final campaign at Creighton. Played with some really good players with the Blue Jays, but stood out in that tournament game. Brian Kalkbrenner, the big man, and Stephen Ashworth, the point guard, who we watched last night, and we'll see him again tonight with Jenna King in action in our 9 o'clock semifinal versus Portsmouth Sports Club. Our second game of the day, as Julian Reese misses that shot, rebounded by Samson Johnston. It'll come at 7 o'clock Eastern with K&D Rounds against Portsmouth Partnership. Those two teams getting the breather as there's a block shot down low. Good one from Caden Shedrick.
Good hustle by Edwards.
Three-pointer is nylon for Patrick McCaffrey, much to the delight of his pops in the stands. Clan. But both of those teams, K&D Rounds and Portsmouth Partnership, winning by relatively close margins on Wednesday night. There's a block from Samson Johnson. However, they say it's a goaltending.
Count the basket for...
Just shows you his remarkable athleticism, though, right?
Very much so.
I'm impressed with Samson Johnson and what he's doing here. He's not really trying to force anything. He's really cutting to the basket nicely with pick and roll. He's shown a lot in terms of running the floor as well.
Doesn't miss many shots. That was one there, but he shot 76.6% this past season at UConn.
The only thing he hasn't been able to do is stretch the floor. I mean, I saw he attempted 2 3-pointers last night, but if he can develop that wrinkle in his game, he's got sky's the limit for his potential.
For sure, most of those attempts for him coming inside of 15 feet. There's Julian Reese showing the body control to score underneath, and it's a 25-22 margin in favor of Mike Duman. Going right to the cup. Oh, it spins out for Wade Taylor the fourth. Thought that one was down. Step back three-pointer for Hogard. Rattles out, but there's Caden Shedrick with the putback flush.
I like his activity level early.
So Texas's Caden Shedrick able to deliver. He's now up to 4 points in this one to go with 3 rebounds. Reese has got 4 points and 5 boards. Texas A&M's Wade Taylor the fourth gets it down low to UConn Samson Johnson, and he's going to get called. Oh, camping out down low, too long in the key. The 3 in the key. It's going to go back to Roger Brown's in gray.
Back and forth we go.
As that is just the third turnover for Mike Duman's group. Third one for Roger Brown's came a little while ago, and there's a substitution for Mike Duman's bunch as Johnson will head to the bench and Say Edwards comes back in. Edwards, who spent 2 seasons at Xavier, 1 at Missouri State before finishing up with the Panthers of Georgia State out of the Sun Belt. Hogard's runner from the wing won't go down. Rebounded inside. McCaffrey has it. Wade Taylor the fourth on the move. Over to an open Brakefield, whose perimeter jumper won't go down. Rebounded by Kobe Johnson, who's come in, the 6'6" forward wearing 11 from
Beautiful
UCLA.
pass.
And he finds Shedrick for the dunk. And it's Johnson to Shedrick, and now a 26-25 score in favor of Roger Brown. We watch it again here. Johnson inside, Shedrick with the throwdown. It's the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament.
Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
'71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament. Roger Brown's on top of Mike Duman, 26-25 with 7:05 to go in our second quarter with Jordan Maka and Matt Hatfield. Pretty evenly matched game to this point. 2 of 10 from long distance for Roger Brown, 5 of 13 for Mike Duman, but Say Edwards with 9 points, and all the youngsters are enjoying the action. Rockin' Texas A&M, I bet the root for Wade Taylor IV. The little ones like him.
Oh, for sure. He's an exciting player. First team all SEC.
Our officials for today's game, chance to shout them out as they're working hard to also make their mark. You know, just when I'm getting ready to shout them out, I lose their names.
Yeah.
We'll have it for you in a moment as we troubleshoot it.
So
Bear with us, ladies and gents.
So keys to this game, I think, so far, so Roger Brown's has been able to push the tempo and capitalize on three-point misses. But Mike Duman's been shooting the ball a lot better this game.
Julian Reese with the board. Underneath, it's going to be collected on the board with Brakefield. It will stay on the right side of the floor. Khalif Battle checking back in, the Gonzaga guard for Roger Brown's. Long range shot, no good, but the rebound tracked down by McCaffrey over to Wade Taylor IV. And Shedrick's going to get the rebound. Well, he thought he had it, and he does get it. Took him a little while, but he got it eventually.
Say Edwards has been a bright spot, but he's trying to showcase his outside perimeter jumper right now.
That basket by
UCLA's Kobe Johnson getting in the scoring column with that one.
What are your thoughts on his game?
Before the break. You know what? Kobe Johnson is a player that has really been a role guy, but he's got that multi-dimensional skill package on offense and has made his mark, much like some of the guys we've talked about in this PIT, the Mashaks, the Mbangs, Jemai Mashak, Tennessee, Mbang Yale, as being that guy that can really disrupt defensively.
Yes.
Of course, we know about Ace Baldwin being that as a multiple-time defensive player of the year at Penn State after earning it at VCU.
Yeah, it was relatively quiet last game, but then at the end of the game, he started hitting a bunch of shots. Right here, we see his ball skills, passing the ball, and his defense. So I think he's bringing a lot. He's showing a lot to the table.
28-27 now count in favor of Roger Brown's. 11 points so far in this game for Say Edwards. Keeping Mike Duman in it, just down by 1.
Good pass.
It's going to go back the other direction.
Yeah, but Shedrick is out, unfortunately.
Our coaches for today's game, chance to mention them, which we haven't done yet. We'll get you those officials too, I promise. Don't worry, folks. Fall-away shot is good for Jemiah Neal.
Impressive turnaround.
Yeah, it was. Roger Brown's coached by Billy Mann, Junior Burrow, and Andrea Gardner-Williams. Mike Duman coached by Jeremy Jordan, Gregory Ackles, and Tyler Robinson. Edwards challenged it. But Khalif Battle said, you can challenge it all you want, I'm scoring.
He's been assertive. Shot wasn't falling, but he's getting to the rim. There's Johnson with defense.
Battle's got it. Closing out is Neal. One dribble floater off the window for 2. 32-29 advantage. Shot won't go down for Wade Taylor IV, and it will go out of bounds back the other way. 3-point game with 4:12 to go in our first half. Looks like Edwards will take a seat and Poulikitis will come in. Our officials, I know you're waiting with these, we're waiting with bated breath for these. Kelsey Reynolds, Angel Ken, and Paul Toomey.
Interesting, they have Bassie out here with A.J. Hogarth. two lead guard lineup.
And for those wondering about that, Jordan, the coaches, this is designed because there are certain things that the NBA teams want to see, the professional teams want to see, the international teams want to see, as Julian Reese gets that shot to go one-handed. So you're trying to cater to an audience in a sense of these players auditioning for jobs that can pay them money playing professionally. Hogarth gets the rebounds. Yes. So they want to see different combinations, maybe 2 point guards, 2 big men, a player that's traditionally a 2 guard. Can you play some point? A 4 play some 3, things of that nature, correct?
Yes, definitely agree on that.
Long-range shot for Battle won't go down. McCaffrey clears it on the board. The bounce not ready for it was Edwards, as that was quickly thrown by Neal, and now Roger Brown's coming another way as Reese catches it at the rim, doesn't finish it. Sebastian
nice
Thomas, he finds Julian Reese, who stays after it, scores, now up to 6 points and 6 rebounds in this one.
Shout out to Bassi on the assist. He's been making some really nice plays this game.
Third one for him so far in terms of the dimes. Wade Taylor the fourth, does he get one? No, not yet. There'll be a couple dribbles for McCaffrey, back over to Wade Taylor. The Texas A&M guard loses the handle. Hogarth up ahead to Thomas.
Bassi.
And they dump it off to Gonzaga's Khalif Battle for 2 off the glass. It's a 9-point lead for Roger Brown.
Roger Brown's is best when they're out in transition, and they're really getting to it now.
So up 7, down 4, up 9. It is a seesaw affair, and Taylor loses it. It goes back court.
2 solid defensive plays by Bassi right there.
Got a timeout on the floor. 2:31 to go in the first half. Roger Brown's on top by 9 at the PIT.
Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
So wonderful to have the Auto Connection and all the great sponsors on board with our coverage all week long on WGNT TV and the Hampton Roads Market, and the great folks with Prep Spin providing this broadcast to an audience worldwide. Alongside Jordan Baker, I'm Matt Hatfield. Those on press row enjoying the action too. Don't yawn, Pops. It's still early. Long day ahead. Your little guy wants to enjoy this action. Oh, the kids, they're here. Look at that. That's
full force.
Spring break, right? Yeah. Oh, the kids love spring break. They get basketball, they get sugar and cotton candy, popcorn. Got to shake hands with 2 of the greats. Cliff Sale on the left there. Jack Ankerson on the right. You see Mr. Morris, our chairman of the PIT. Gary Owens along press row as well. Big shout out to Jim Heath, statistical guru down there, Chris Queen, Jimmy Duke. A lot of familiar faces that I've gotten the privilege to work with doing a lot of Old Dominion broadcasts, and fans just loving the action here, Jordan. It's really a basketball festival of sorts when people have the reunion and you see, I remember them. We see a couple of our broadcasters that are watching the action too, that'll be a part of our coverage in the games to come too. I see Matt Jones there watching. Yes. Doing the action in the stand. So it's just, you remember when, and good to see familiar faces of people that you might not see every day.
Yes, it's definitely a time to reconnect, a time to connect to new people. Portsmouth is one of the best events of the year. It's definitely something you should mark on your calendar.
Floater's good for Hogarth as he gets it to go. AJ, who made 347 free throws in his college career, 74.5%, 5 years. College basketball, 4 of them at Michigan State, the last one at Vanderbilt. Here's McCaffrey dialing it up from 3, no good. Rebounded by Thomas. Bash Thomas on the move. Changing directions in his dribble. Khalif Battle's open for 3 right in front of that bench. And Billy Mann, he can make some shots back in his day for the ODU Monarchs. And Battle just gave him a up-close view of his 3-ball to make it a 14-point lead for Roger Browns. You impress the coach and the former player when you do that, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. I think Battle's really battled back from a poor showing in the last game with his shooting, and now he's starting to find a rhythm after he got to the basket early.
Explosive. 13 points today. There's a partial block. We'll give it to McCaffrey as he gets the rejection on that one.
Big time break here.
3 balls, no good for Neal.
Can't capitalize.
In the air. Back over to Wade Taylor the fourth. The Dallas, Texas native can't get it to go. Trickles out to Yale's Pulikitis. Now McCaffrey fires a 3. It's also no good, and we've got a whistle going back the other way, and it will be Roger Browns.
One thing I just noticed, it was a 5-on-4, and they didn't look to share the ball, they looked to shoot the 3. I thought you'd just capitalize on the 5-on-4, get the easy basket.
Checking in for Roger Brown.
Terrence Edwards Jr. is subbed in for A.J. Hogard as the Louisville 6'6" guard will get a chance to make something happen in the last 62 seconds of our half.
1 minute remaining in the half.
Battle fires another 3 ball. That one off the mark, rebounded by Wade Taylor the fourth. Neal's got it. Bounce over to McCaffrey. Through the lane. How about 2 guys challenging the shot? It's blocked by Obed Ina and Achille Killen, and there's an injury down here as Caden Shedrick pats the young man who attempted that slow to get up. It's McCaffrey. Play continues on. 5-on-4 chance, and Shedrick's going to be fouled by Pulikitis.
Good look inside.
Watching again, you see
number 11, John Pulikitis, his first.
Neal trying to get some room to operate.
At the line for 2 shots, Caden Shedrick.
And here's the attack. Looked like there might have been an initial swipe, but Shedrick landing awkwardly down on McCaffrey, but it looked like he was motioning towards his upper area, facial area. So
Yeah.
Not sure all that took place on that as the first free throw is good for Texas forward Caden Shedrick. 71.6% foul shooter.
Appears to have worked through it though.
Roger Brown's really extending out here. Learning from yesterday's lesson of having a 7-point lead, not protecting it. Rebounded by Samson Johnson. Ball's going to be rattled in. Jemiah Neal.
I'd like to see a little bit more of that from Jemiah.
He called for him to make some things happen, and right before the break, Jordan, he does. 3-pointer's good for Mike Duman. However, Roger Brown's restaurant with a lead by a dozen. You're watching the 71st annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament from Churchton High School.
Rivers Casino. Big games, wall-to-wall screens, and non-stop action. Rivers Casino is a proud sponsor of this year's Portsmouth Invitational Tournament.
Back live here at 2025 Portsmouth Invitational Tournament at Churchland High School. Matt Hatfield, Mark Davis, and Matt. Roger Brown's right now with a 44-32 lead over Mike Duman. We talked to one of the coaches of Roger Brown's, Billy Mann, yesterday. He said, I don't want to go 0-3 right now, out to a good start.
Good for Billy, who once started at Lake Taylor and obviously at Old Dominion. And, you know, they learned from their lesson yesterday, Mark. They were down 7 in the first quarter. They battled back. Excuse me, they actually had a 7-point lead, blew the lead, and then they end up losing the game. Today, 7-point lead, they squander it. They get up 9, extended up to 12 by halftime. And Khalif Battle's really been the straw that stirs the drink. He played at Butler for a season, 3 seasons at Temple, then went to Arkansas in the SEC, and at Gonzaga, he's known as a really good foul shooter, can be active and athletically defensively, and we're seeing him out here in a rhythm shooting the basketball, playing within his comfort zone, and it's been a difference so far.
Well, and don't be fooled. 12 points is double digits, but we've seen this tournament before. Last night, the only blowout of the event, last night's 9 p.m. game, all the other ones seem, these leads have disappeared like that.
Yeah, the first game of the tournament, 74-73, K&D Rounds escaping against Sales Systems, but remember, it was a 23-point lead in that game before Sean Padula saved the day, the Ole Miss guard who played at Virginia Tech before coming to the Rebels, and I know Ole Miss has got some coaches in the building like Brian Berg, an assistant, who once upon a time recruited Trey Freeman from this area. You know, it's interesting to see how teams, when you get to semifinal Friday, championship Saturday, how they answer the bell. Second game in as many days, 3 games in 4 days, or 3 games in 3 days for some teams. How do they have the legs, and what do you do to show the scouts you still have the stamina, the endurance? Because as you know, basketball, whether you're playing professionally, collegiately, below that, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Well, and I know they say, hey, we used to do that all the time in AAU, but this is not AAU caliber physicality out here, is it?
No, and unlike AAU, every move you make is being critiqued and judged by professional scouts. It's that job audition. You're trying to show what you can do and make this your living, not your hobby.
We heard from Julian Reese pregame, trying to make a name for himself out here. Got off to a good start last night. What are your impressions of his follow-up here today?
Well, I think the other thing is when people see you play with a motor, you play hard, it's noticeable. And in Reese's case, even if he's not a guy that's taking a bunch of threes or always having the highlight reel dunk, he's getting rebounds, he's using his body control, he's doing things in the lane, and then defensively being able to switch off and guard multiple spots. So much, as we've talked about in our broadcast, it's about the pick and roll game. How you utilize it goes back to the days in the 90s where Karl Malone and John Stockton perfected it, but also how do you defend it? And if you can defend screen roll, be it a 3 or a 4-man, you have a chance to play at a professional level, perhaps even in the NBA.
And don't be fooled. This is more than an individual showcase. Billy Mann told us yesterday, these scouts want to see that you have what it takes to go for the win and try to win the game. They want to see you have those intangibles. So second half coming up, can Mike Duman claw back from this 12-point lead? We're going to find out right on the other side of this break. We're right live here on WGNT for the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. Well, the 2025 PNT back here live on WGNT. And you know, for this tournament, we see fans of all ages, all experience levels. And with that, I want to bring in Carlton Copeland. Carlton, you're with Purpose Driven, and you have some pretty energetic fans out here at Churchland today.
Yes, we do. We have our kids from a Purpose Driven Peace Camp that's going on during Portsmouth Peace Week. So every year on Fridays, we bring our kids to the PIT because we want them to see what they can be and what these guys are doing on the court. So a lot of our kids want to be basketball players.
That's fantastic. And Rob, I don't know if you can see the kids over here. I mean, they're right over there. Look, I want the energy of the gentleman over here on the right. So here are the kids. What does Purpose Driven do, Carlton?
Well, Purpose Driven is a community program that we focus on our kids and focus on our community to give them a positive reinforcement to make sure that they become somebody and know that they're somebody. So we invest in our kids and invest in our neighborhoods.
I remember when I was a kid, I don't think I really realized how big, strong, fast these guys are until I got out here and saw it for myself. What have been some of the reactions from these young ladies and men over here?
Well, from the time we got in here, from the time they started running up and down the court, our kids were very engaged in every shot and every rebound and every play they played. So a lot of them are very familiar with the game and a lot of them play. So they love coming here and they love to see the guys play.
This is an example of one of many outings I'm sure you guys do. What else do you guys do to get out in the community?
We have family cookouts, community cookouts. We also, on Sunday, we have a gospel concert going on. So we put on events to bring people together so we can continue to spread love in our communities and keep our kids safe to combat the violence and gun violence in our city.
That's fantastic that you're doing something like this, Carlton. I got to ask you, you said you guys are based in Portland. How many PITs have you seen prior to this?
3. We've been here 3 years, and so we're going to continue to come back.
What's it like for you to see the future here in front of you, and how valuable is it for them to say, hey, some of these guys grew up in the same situation you guys are in, and look what they're doing? How valuable is that?
It's real valuable. You know, these guys are playing this game that I love myself, that I played, and we try to instill in our kids that you can be anything that you want to be. And so that was one of the things we talked about this week. Winners don't quit, quitters don't win, and now they get to see the hard work of these guys from not quitting, that they're winning on the court today.
Well, and hey, what an opportunity, because a lot of these stars aren't shy about signing autographs and meeting with the kids. I mean, it's got to be nice that the role models are giving back here a little bit too.
Absolutely. These guys are definitely giving back to our communities, and we hope to catch a few of them after the game to interact with the kids and get some autographs. So I've been told that they're going to be more than happy to do that, so we're excited.
Carlton Copeland, love what you do of Purpose Driven. That is his organization. They're all out here today. We have the second half coming up on the other side of this break. Right now, Roger Brown's up 44-32 over Mike Duman. We're coming right back with more PIT live on WGNT.
Jordan, your impressions of the first half?
Yeah, so I thought there's a lot of good action here. I thought that Roger Brown's really pushed the tempo, and Mike Duman started out shooting pretty well, and then Roger Brown's definitely came back and did their thing.
We now have a special guest joining us here for this third quarter. He'll chat with us. He's a 2016 alumni of the PIT. Got his start at Kellum High School in Virginia Beach as a three-pointer is delivered from the top of the key by Obed-Ina and a Chili Killen from Marshall. Misfire there and rebounded by John Poulikitis of Yale for Mike Duman. This youngster also, I can't say youngster anymore because now in his 30s, it's blocked inside by Anachili Killen. He went on to play at Old Dominion University nearby in Norfolk, two-time Conference USA first-team performer, also played in the PIT, NBA Summer League, played overseas. Now the head basketball coach at Kempsville High School in Virginia Beach as Khalif Battle knocks down that three to up his point total to 16. We say hello and welcome to Trey Freeman. Trey, good to see you. How you been?
I'm doing great. Good to see you too.
Does it bring back some memories for you from playing this event as that shot is good off the backboard to make it a 13-point game? I imagine anytime you walk in a gym and see an event of any sorts, be it an Old Dominion game, a Kellum High game, basketball game of sorts, you get back those juices that flowing for you, huh?
Yeah. So I didn't think I was coming today. My assistant from Ole Miss, Coach Berg, the one that recruited me to go to Campbell, told me to come up here, and then I run into Lamar Barrett, and I started running into a lot of familiar faces. So it's always nice to be in the gym. This was a surreal experience to actually play in the PIT. So it's really fun. Great to see all this great talent.
And Chili Killen knocking down a three, and there's a foul on a long-range shot with 8:14 to go in the third quarter. You mentioned Coach Brian Berg, one of the assistants to Chris Beard at Ole Miss in the SEC, and they have a couple of players in this event like Jamin Brakefield, who's playing right now, number 23 for Mike Duman at White, and also Sean Padula, who started at Virginia Tech, Ole Miss. But take us through your odyssey, because you come out of Kellum High in Virginia Beach, accomplished player. You know, Ramon Snowden led a team that went undefeated, and you didn't get a lot of recruiting attention, but when he was at Campbell, he made you a priority, and then from there, your basketball journey took off.
Yeah, so, back then and even today, it's very hard to even play college basketball. So I was blessed to have one offer from that man over there, Coach Berg. So I'll do anything for him. He got me out of Virginia Beach, out of Virginia, to go to Campbell. Played at Campbell. I had a great 2 years, freshman of the year. We got to play a lot of top talents, Gonzaga, NC State, Virginia Tech, and so on and so on. I always pretty much played pretty well against the better opponents. And then my mom got sick, came to ODU, did even better at ODU probably. I got to play with Coach Jones, Jeff Jones, Brian Stith, Coach Richardson, and Coach Barrett, Coach Donahue, and the rest is history, really. Just went to the Rockets Summer League, went to the Pistons, had about 6 NBA workouts from this. I think I led this in assist-to-turnover ratio. I played against Dodo again in this game. I think we lost by like a point. I missed the half-court shot to win it. I think I had like 15-9.
Now you said that was Dodo. For those who don't know, that's Dorian Finney-Smith.
Yeah, Dorian Finney-Smith for the Lakers. So I lost to him twice with Norcom and then at the PIT. And I think the coolest part, because I'm a basketball nerd, I would walk by this baseline and all these NBA teams, and I saw Jerry Sloan. I met Jerry Sloan, shook his hand. I saw Sam Perkins. I forgot who else, but it was like, that was the coolest part for me. It was like, it wasn't even about really, it was cool to play against, the guys, I guess, that were seniors along with me, but I'll be daydreaming while I'm playing, like, that's Jerry Sloan right there, man.
Jordan, I can tell the story with Trey here. He brings up the late, great Jerry Sloan, who coached the Utah Jazz with my favorite duo of Karl Malone and John Stockton, which we just talked about with Mark Davis. And John Stockton was the guest speaker at the PIT as we watched that latest one.
Oh, he was?
In here, free throw by Wade Till the fourth. It's a 52-40 lead for Roger Brown, as that outside shot is no good. Rebound inside for, guess who, Brakefield of Ole Miss.
Oh,
for,
nice.
Mike Duman. But I spoke with him before Stockton gave his speech that year, as that one's good by Say Edwards of Georgia State, and I said, man, being a Jazz fan, 97, the Bulls, they were better. They had home court. They had Jordan. They won, set a record for wins the year before with 72. I said, but 98, we were better, Jerry. We had a home court, all that. We beat them twice in the season. And Sloan, as if you could take a steak knife and put it in my heart. Yeah, but that other team had number 23.
Yeah.
It was tough for me to hear. But you also, for those who don't know, and Jordan, you'll get a kick out of this, after that, you got a chance to play professionally, international basketball. Tell us what that experience did and the meaning for that. For a lot of these people out here watching, if they're at home, watching on WGNT here in the Hampton Roads Market, on Prep Spin globally, we're worldwide here with our broadcast, and the kids, the players out here, there's a life for basketball players that doesn't always include the NBA, correct?
Yeah, so today and this weekend, they're having an opportunity to basically audition. They're watching your body language. They're watching how you compete and how much you're willing to fight for this roster spot. And obviously there's NBA guys there. That was my main focus, NBA, right? But over on these sidelines and up top, they got teams from Italy and France and all over, talking to your agents. And it's a big, I think it's a little different now with NIL. A lot of these guys had agents right before, but imagine, my senior year, we're told not to talk to agents, for 4 years. People hit us up. We're not allowed to talk. I'm not allowed to take, I can't take any food. I can't, from anybody. And then, we win the Vegas 16. I go to the PIT. I don't know if this was first. No. I played in the Reese's All-Star game first, and then I came here. And it's like, so I had to audition like 6 agents, try to figure out which one's the best one. There's horror stories with everyone, it seems like. You talk to the wrong person, they're the worst person. You talk to the right person, they're the best person. And as you go through it, man, it's a lot of learning experience, especially maybe if you don't have, anybody that you've seen do it before. So for me, it's not like I had anybody really to lean on that really did it from Kellum at that level or ODU. There wasn't anybody really for me to talk to. So for a lot of people, I might have been that person to talk to for a lot of the guys from around the area that came after me. So it was just trying to navigate it, really.
Julian Reese grabs a rebound, then Sebastian Thomas scores it. We've got a couple of free throws coming here as Roger Browns leads at 55-42 here at the 71st Annual PIT as we talk with former 2016 PIT standout Trey Freeman from Kellum High in Virginia Beach and Old Dominion University, now the head basketball coach at Kempsville High in Virginia Beach, as well as we watch a couple of free throws with Jamin Brakefield for Mike Duman out of Ole Miss to make the game a closer one, a 12-point deficit. Jordan?
Yeah, so Trey, what would you say was like the biggest thing in terms of the transition from the PIT to say the G League?
Yeah, so I would say PIT and G League ball are comparable in the sense that everybody's trying to make it, right?
Yeah.
And it's glorified. It's not glorified pickup, but it's in the sense of like, it's really about individual talents. In college, there's more people at roles. Here, a guy might not be able to shoot threes, and they're gonna shoot 8 threes to show you they can shoot threes.
Gotcha.
But the one thing I noticed about basketball, it's forever changing and evolving.
Yes.
So you might have played in a system in high school or college that's not conducive to professional basketball.
I noticed that a lot.
Yeah, so it's like it can be hard for people to find their identity. Their whole career, they've been told to rim run, and there's 2 people rim running. Now they want 4 out, 1 in. They want 4 people, 1 guy in the dunker spot, 1 guy, every wing guy. If you watch this game right now, they're sprinting to the corners. That's where the game's evolved to. So it's like, it's not your parents' basketball game.
Yes.
But it'll continue to grow, and the game's bigger than any one person. So you kind of have to learn, adapt, evolve, learn terminology, and so on and so forth.
Makes
Julian
sense.
Reese knocking down a couple of free throws to push it up to 57-44 in favor of Roger Browns as the Maryland product up to 10 points and 8 boards. Khalif Battle leads the way with 16 points, 15 for Say Edwards as Mike Duman trails it by 13.
Yeah, and what was the stint like in Puerto Rico?
Oh man, I love Puerto Rico. It was the playoffs, so it was really fun. But it was like
you got some names out there.
Yeah, it was awesome. But like as I watched the game, it's like if you watch it, like when I was at ODU, we weren't running as much ball screens, right? Or if you watch any high school team around here, they don't really play ball screens. So the whole game is ball screens. If you watch this game, every single play, there's going to be some sort of ball screen. Here it comes, right here, number 11. So as you go through the game, you really watch the differences and going back to high school, that's really eye-opening. Because I've been yelled at my whole professional career. You got to get out spacing, get to the corners, so forth, so on. You have to be able to play in a ball screen. But none of these guys do that all summer in AAU. So it's like, for some people, they're learning how to play in a pick and roll, perhaps right now. Like I was coming off a lot of pin downs in college.
Gonzaga's Khalif Battle and Texas A&M's Wade Taylor, the 4th exchange buckets. A 13-point lead still for Roger Browns, and there's that ball screen again. So to follow that up here, as that jumper is delivered here to make it a 15-point lead for Roger Browns. Did your eye in terms of watching the game for the little things like that, did it change more from high school to college? college to pro, or after you were done playing as a pro and got into coaching? I'm sure at every step it had some growth and development, and you're still learning and soaking things up like a sponge. But where did it change the most? Actually, you know what? Hold that thought. We'll get that question when we come back from break, because we've got 4:50 to go in the third quarter. Roger Browns leads it by 15. You're watching our continuing coverage of the 71st Annual PIT.
Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
Continue on our conversation here at the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament. It is our 6th game of 12 here on the Friday of Easter weekend at the PIT. Roger Brown's Restaurant on top of Mike Duman, 61-46, as Khalif Battle has 18 points to lead the way for them. Alongside Jordan Macon, Matt Hatfield here with you. We thank you all for tuning in on WGNT TV in Hampton Roads and worldwide on Prep Spin on the web. We're here with former PIT standout from 2016, Trey Freeman, who was a two-time All-Conference USA performer at Old Dominion University after starring at Pelham High in Virginia Beach and now coaching. Finished up his first season as the head basketball coach at Kempsville High, as we got a couple of free throws coming out of the break. That last foul committed by A.J. Hoggard for Roger Brown's squad. But the question we had before the break there, Trey, was your eye, I'm sure, is always, keeping a close eye on what's happening in the game from player to high school level, college, pro. When you're done as a pro in coaching, where did it have the most development in terms of the little small intricacies?
Oh, man, I think playing for Jeff Jones at ODU, Coach Jones, I probably learned so much going from high school to college. You learn a lot. But to be honest, at that time, the game, like even now, the game's so much different from college to NBA. So it's like wherever you go, you have to be able to adapt and change. You can't really be but so hard-headed. You just watch, even like LeBron when he was at the Heat, like, they changed the scope of like how offenses are, how open it is. He doesn't even want a real big man. Chris Bosh had to go out, spread the floor, and then you got Steph Curry. So the game's continual with the changing, and you kind of have to fit into it, because most of these guys that are at the PIT, they're not going to be the number one go-to, man. They have to be able to play within a system, play alongside a Jokic or a LeBron or Steph Curry.
Good find inside as Julian Reese with the dunk there. So, thinking about when you played at the PIT, how many conversations when you got them were they just totally foreign to you in terms of how they were going to utilize you and things you heard? Because some will watch this and say, it looks like a glorified pickup game. It's not necessarily the case, is it?
All right, no, not at all. I think it's just like, it's a lot of these guys probably, especially if they're from a smaller school, they were probably the man their whole life, right? And then you get here, and you're playing alongside somebody from Duke, somebody from UNC, somebody from USC, UCLA, and it's like they were the man too, but they knew how to take a second spot or another role, right?
Yeah.
And then as you continue to evolve, it's really hard to even make it to the league, but to be the man in the league, that's even more rare. Like, Dodo was probably scoring 20 a game in here, right? But his role, 3-and-D, defense. You get what you want off the rim. You shoot your open shots. You give the ball to Luka. You give it to LeBron.
Yep.
And he's had a heck of a career. Like, he's a great player. But it's like, he was the man at Norcom. He changed when he had to go to Virginia Tech. He changed when he had to go to Florida. He has to change when he's at Dallas. Then he goes to Brooklyn, and then now in L.A. So it's
Makes sense.
everybody's career is that. Basically, it's just not, you might not be on TV. You might be overseas doing it.
Constant changing and evolving with things as Taylor splits a pair of free throws, and now with the basketball on the move is Mike Duman trailing it by 15 with Taylor going between the legs. Three-pointer from the wing is buried as the Texas A&M guard. There's a 3-time All-SEC first-team performer, gets them within 12.
Great shot.
Yeah, that was nice.
So when you think about the constant changing and where intercollegiate athletics is right now, and you talked about it a little bit, there wasn't the NIL in the portal. You did have a transfer because of family-related reasons, and that three-point shot is no good. The long rebound coming out to Brakefield on the move here. What's your feeling of it now? Because you're a high school coach. There's a three-point shot by Taylor. We get a timeout here. Well, we'll keep that question for you after the break because I have another timeout to take here. 63-54 as Mike Duman's group is getting a little closer thanks to the three ball. We're chatting with Trey Freeman, former standout at Old Dominion and Kellum High School here, a 2016 alum of the PIT. And you're watching the PIT at Churchland High.
'Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
(63-54) Roger Brown's Restaurant leading Mike Duman Incorporated here with 3:15 to go in the third quarter. Winner of this game will take on Sales System in the fifth place game coming up on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern here at the 71st Annual PIT at Churchland High School. Alongside Jordan Macom, Matt Hatfield here with you, our special guest during this third period, Trey Freeman, now a head basketball coach at Kempsville High in Virginia Beach. He started at Kellum High School, part of an undefeated district team that made the region semis, then went on to play at Campbell. Went to Old Dominion, earned all-conference a couple of times, played internationally, and has a very decorated basketball career. We were asking you before the break there, Trey, in terms of just the adjustments that are made. Now college basketball is way different than when you played, which was not that long ago, just a decade ago. What do you make of it? Now you're coaching kids that have aspirations to one day be a Trey Freeman or one of these guys out here, these little kids. They want to maybe play basketball too. What's your whole thought of where we are?
I was just talking to Coach Berg, and he was telling me, you know, I don't know who out there has been to Bowie's Creek, North Carolina, but it's not, you know, the most luxurious place. Like,
it's where Campbell is, right?
Yeah, where Campbell. I don't know if a lot of people want to go there, but he did a heck of a job of bringing in great talent. We had Eric Griffin. He's still playing right now. He was on the Mavericks. He broke the internet a couple times with some crazy dunks, and Darren White, and we had a lot of good guys. But back then, he was saying it was more relationship-built recruiting, right? Now it's a lot of transactional, dealing with NIL and everything. So I don't know, man. I feel for the game of college basketball. I'm thankful for all the people that came before me and before them, that allowed them to be in this place to make money, because it's nice to be able to make money. But it's kind of the Wild Wild West right now. I mean, I don't know. It's like, I can understand leaving for a lot of money, but then it's like a legacy aspect of building something. I can understand staying, so.
A rare missed free throw for Khalif Battle, who shot 93.2% this past season at Gonzaga. Made the second, though, but 1 of 2 for him as he's up to 19 points, a 10-point lead for Roger Browns.
Yeah, so I mean, to that point, are you seeing it like this is like Europe, the Europe South type of, or Europe West type of situation?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know
how it's built.
Honestly, like, it's crazy because the guys are playing forever now. There's a lot of money to be made, and it's just kind of hard, like, to build a culture when people are leaving at such a high rate. I mean, granted, people, I transferred, and there's reasons to transfer, and there's reasons to leave, and, hundreds of thousands of dollars is a pretty good reason to me.
Yeah.
But looking at it from, like, a coach standpoint, it's kind of hard, man, if you don't have the money. I'm just like, and then, like, coming out of high school, I was talking to my coach, it's probably harder to come out now because people are staying for 6 years, and you know, you could go to JUCO and then come or whatever. So it's a lot that goes into it.
Well, now with the new JUCO rule, right, you get to stay an extra 2 years.
It's actually it's a lot for. I think about a lot of the players, and you know, I barely made it to college playing basketball. Good and one right there.
Basket and one for A.J. Hogarth, the first ever player, as we brought up earlier, to play in the PIT twice because he played at Michigan State, and due to the waiver rules, got a chance to play once he went to Vanderbilt. I know you
played at the PIT twice.
Yeah, I got to play the PIT twice, so we got that nugget.
Wow.
We got that nugget last night. Odd but true, first player in a 71-year history. Waiver changes in the bylaw allow him to do that. So think about that. If you were playing now, you could have been A.J. Hogarth getting a chance to do this not once but twice. And I'm curious, Trey, too, for you.
Are these guys leaving with doctorates?
as you watch this, some maybe not. As you watch this, what are the things you're looking for when you come out here now? Because you're coaching high school level, and I'm sure you might have aspirations to maybe one day coach at a higher level if there's a calling for that, and it's in your cards. It's a three-pointer that's knocked down from way downtown for Texas A&M's Wade Taylor.
He's heating up.
15 points. Yeah, he is a bucket getter, over 15 per game this season for the Aggies and Coach Buzz Williams. But what are you looking for to separate players? Because some out there are watching. How do you separate guys, and what are you looking for now as your coach?
Yeah, I think for like bigs, right? You got to look at how hard they're running the court.
Flush right there as it's delivered.
Nice.
The dunk by Jemiah Neal of Creighton.
Yeah, so I think, you know, you're looking at certain intangibles, how hard they're rolling, like these bigs. You see how hard number 20 just rolled right there? That can bring in the help side defense on the backside. You're seeing that who can create shots, who can create for others. Yeah, he's down.
Terrence Edwards Jr. getting that runner to go. We do have an injured player for Roger Browns as they will stop play here with the foul. We'll check on that injured player. You see that steal, and on the breakaway, Jemiah Neal racing in for the dunk. The young man who had quite a game against Louisville, 29 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists in this year's NCAA tournament. And as we tend to this injury, I think we may take a timeout as well.
Or his shoulder.
Shoulder, yeah.
Trying to check on which player that is. Is that Chili Killing?
Yes, it is.
It is, yeah. So the Marshall big man. So we'll step aside as he is looked at here. You're watching our continuing coverage of the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament. Obina and Achille Killen being checked on as he was down injured. The 6'8 forward from Marshall, who was the Sun Belt Conference Defensive Player of the Year out of Nigeria, had some battles with Old Dominion this year, including 24 points and win over the Monarchs. And we have a former Monarch with us, Trey Freeman, guard out of Kellam High School, who once started the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament back in 2016. Now coaches at Kempsville High in Virginia Beach. Matt Hatfield here with you, and Jordan Maka. Jordan Maka, the owner of Rise and Grind at the TBT. And Trey, you got some history with the TBT. I'm sure Jordan's going to love this, right?
Yeah, we played 1 year. I wasn't playing anymore at the time. I was taking a break or something, and we brought back some of the fellas. I think we played against West Virginia's team. We lost, but
That's Virginia.
it was cool. Yeah,
Who are your Monarch mates? Give them a shout out if you can.
Oh, my boy Nick Biberai. I think Richard Ross was on the team. Javante Douglas.
Okay.
Was our guy Jordan Baker on the team as well?
Of course, Jordan Baker,
Okay.
the legendary Jordan Baker. Aaron Baycoat, the legendary Aaron
Baycoat,
Baycoat.
another
Yes.
757 guy. Okay.
You know, my whole ODU team was full of some dogs, man, when I look back at it. So, yeah, all those guys, man, we had a lot of them. Ambrose wasn't playing because he was coaching, I'm sure.
That's Ambrose Mosley. Right?
Ambrose Mosley,
Okay.
he's at Bethune-Cookman now. He had some great teammates I had.
Everybody's a dog, Jordan. You got to have some dogs to.
More dogs, man.
Absolutely.
Especially in the PIT, man. You got to be a dog out here.
6-point game. Here's a long-range shot for Kobe Johnson. There's going to be a whistle underneath as that one was misfired. Leading scorer right now is Say Edwards of Georgia State with 18 for Mike Duman, 19 for Khalif Battle, who's not on the floor right now, but we got a couple of free throws coming for Julian Reese. You see Jeremy Jordan, one of the coaches for Mike Duman, on the screen there now at Pocosin High School. But TBT, there's so many different levels and types of basketball that makes this sport continue to just grow and evolve, huh?
Yeah, for sure. That's the game. We're growing it. It's worldwide.
Yep.
Different levels, and you can make it out anywhere, really. You really think about it. You just have to fight and work and put the time in.
The one thing I like about TBT is kind of brings a lot of the levels together. You get like all the guys in the summer who come out from Europe, they're out, and then you get guys who are still here, either coaching or doing something else.
Yeah.
And all the alumni, you know. So
Yeah, for sure.
it's a lot of fun.
Jemiah Neal with the basketball trying to go down the post. It's going to be Samson Johnson from UConn into Say Edwards, the Georgia State product, missing it. And Johnson thought he had it, but it's going to be ripped away here by Caden Shredrick as we're under a minute to go in this third quarter. And it's going to be a couple of free throws coming for A.J. Hogard. You got a favorite moment or memory from your entire playing career? Anything that stuck out about the PIT?
I think just I think the PIT and the Final Four, going to those two things.
That's the NIT Final Four, right?
Nah, the NCAA, because
going
I
to
went to the Reese's All-Star Game. So
Yeah.
those two things, I probably met more of the people I saw on TV than any other time in my life. Like, I think I met Scottie Pippen in the thing. He wished me well at the PIT. That was cool. Met Bill Self, met a lot of people, you know, that you see. But just
How shocked are you when someone like a Bill Self or a Scottie Pippen knows who you are?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, but honestly, a lot of it was, you know, I'm getting introduced by Coach Bryant Stitt, the legend himself. So it's, you know, I look a little bit cooler. You know what I mean?
You hang with people.
Yeah, so that was cool. But yeah, I mean, just the whole ODU time was great. I mean, I had a great experience in basketball. Thankful for all the doors that opened, but you know, just Kellam was awesome. Everything was awesome.
Did you have a little cheering section here at PIT?
Oh yeah, the whole city came out and that because it was me versus Dodo the first night. It was packed.
I remember
it
that.
was packed.
Say Edwards hits the first of a couple of free throws here as it's now a 7-point game, and we've got substitution now as Samson Johnson will take a seat in for him as Jamin Brakefield, the 6'8" forward from Ole Miss. So coaching at Kempsville High School, how's that been for you? Getting used to the high school level. How cool is it for you now to be sitting there and see all these guys that are youngsters wanting to be you one day?
Yeah, it's cool. For me, my whole thing was I wanted to pay it forward. You know, I feel like I've been focused on me for so long with basketball and just everything I want to do in life. And I wanted to give back to like my community and give back to the kids and try to teach them a little bit more, talking about everything you learn at each level and having to grow. Trying to teach them a little bit earlier so they don't have to learn later like a lot of us did as a coach. So try not to take the easy route. The easy route might just be like opening it up just go downhill, hand off, or whatever. Just trying to teach a little bit of concept so when they come to the PIT, they don't look like a deer with headlights.
But you can't let them beat you in one-on-one. That can't happen. As it's going to be a top of the key 3 ball that rattles out for Duman.
No,
Putback is there though for Say Edwards.
Nah, they'll never beat me one-on-one. But just trying to teach them, really.
Oh, at the buzzer, A.J. Hogarth with a shot reminiscent of Trey Freeman's game winner against, was it Murray State?
Murray State.
Yeah, how about that? With Trey on the call, how about that?
Nice.
We watch it again. Hogarth channeling his inner Trey Freeman here with us from Portsmouth. Always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Trey Freeman, our guest here from the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament as Hogarth beats the horn. Come on back for the fourth quarter finish.
Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
Fourth quarter underway here in the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. A team trying to earn its spot in the 5th place consolation game at 1 o'clock Eastern on Saturday, as it is Roger Brown's on top of Mike Duman, 73-66 alongside Jordan Macom at half of the other. We think former Old Dominion and Campbell send out Trey Freeman, who once started at Kellum High in Virginia Beach, now coaches at Kempsville High, and had a basketball odyssey that took him overseas professionally, and of course paved the way also for many others.
Yes.
Got that chance to shine against his former opponent and 7'5" friend Dorian Finney-Smith in the 2016 PIT. But during that third quarter, tons of scoring, Jordan, because the likes of Wade Taylor IV with 15 points and Say Edwards with 11 for Mike Duman. We had a 34-29 edge for Duman's group in that period. So the scoring has increased, but there's also been a little lapse of defense at times too.
Yeah, Wade Taylor definitely caught fire in that quarter, and 5 for 5, 3 for 3 from 3. And then you have Say Edwards again continuing to do his thing. On the opposite end, just calling out Khalif Battle has been aggressive still.
3-point shot is no good. Rebound on the long misfire by Poulikitis.
Also A.J. Hogarth, shout out to him. He's been aggressive lately. So it's been a Wade Taylor, A.J. Hogarth showdown recently.
Neal over to Poulikitis, his three-pointer short, rebounded by Shedrick underneath. Here's Battle.
Into Reese.
Almost stolen from behind, but Reese just using his frame to shield off the defender and make it 75-66 for Roger Browns. Ball's knocked out of bounds. 9:02 to go in this one. Got 2 more games after this one, Jordan. And on this Friday, as it'll be the semifinals at 7 o'clock Eastern with K&D Rounds against Portsmouth Partnership and Jenneking versus Portsmouth Sports Club at 9 o'clock Eastern. Taylor had it sandwiched in between. There's the lob and the finish for Samson Johnson, the 6'10" center from UConn. That lob threat. Shedrick puts it on the floor, and he's able to use the left hand to finish it at the rim. 77-68 now the tally. Taylor going all the way to the basket, missing the runner. Rebounded down low by Shedrick. He's trying to bounce it in, stolen away by Jemiah Neal. Neal kicks it out, Pulakitis for three, and it's nylon for Yale's John Pulakitis.
Just a 6-point game here.
He shot 40.8% from three-point territory for the Ivy League champs, and this one tightening here. It was a lead by as many points in the first half as 12 at the break. But Mike Duman's bunch not going away quietly. Largest lead in the third quarter early on was 16, as it's going to be a shot clock violation. And in fact, Khalif Battle, who got a little rusty in that third quarter, I guess you could say, after the hot first half start, had it rejected. We watched that dunk again from Samson Johnson. As he makes his presence felt, Pulakitis down low to Brakefield. Tight ropes the baseline, and his shot underneath is good. Jamin Brakefield, he averaged in double figures in 3 of 4 seasons at Ole Miss after starting off at Duke. Didn't see a lot of floor time, and he's become a factor. We got a timeout on the floor too, so we'll take one too. 4-point game. Don't touch that dial. 7:23 to play. Roger Brown's in the lead here at the 71st annual PIT.
Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
Winner here will take on Sales Systems at 1 o'clock Eastern on Saturday. Loser here will face Norfolk Sports Club in the 7th place game at 11 a.m. Eastern on Saturday. Matt Hatfield here with you alongside Jordan Maker. We want to thank Joe Allen, our camera operator upstairs. William Warfield back in our prep spin truck. Mark Davis, the whole group from WGNT. There's William. Thumbs up from William. Big kudos to him. The brains of the operation, as we like to say. 7:23 to go. Roger Brown's on top by 4 here. Jordan, what do you think will be the deciding factor or factors here down the stretch for these two teams?
Well, I think it's going to be whether Reese gets the ball in the paint for Roger Brown's. I think he's developed his game. He's shown a little bit here. I think Wade Taylor, if he continues his hot streak, could be a problem for Roger Brown's.
Sebastian Thomas from Rhode Island. Gets it over to Shedrick. The Texas big man gets it inside. That jumper's going to be missed. Pulakitis coming away with the board. Pulakitis very active in this second half for Mike Duman. He's up to a dozen with 8 rebounds from the guard spot.
I like his motion without the ball.
Jamin Brakefield trying to spin on Shedrick and get rid of it to Pulakitis. 3 from straight away for the Naperville, Illinois product. That's going to be off the mark, but it will stay with the men in white from Mike Duman with 6:51 to play.
Great fight by Samson Johnson right there.
I don't think, Jordan, will see 63 points combined in this fourth quarter like we saw in the third, where it was back and forth, baskets, some free throws, some threes. half-court style here down the stretch, perhaps, as it's a deflection from Battle causing that turnover. Now it's Louisville's Terrence Edwards Jr. wearing number 14 with the rock. He's going to bounce it over to Caden Shedrick. Shedrick's got it now on the spin, and he scores it on Samson Johnson, which is not an easy thing to do, but he made it look not too difficult.
Yeah, just got him positioned under the basket. That was it.
Count it, plus the foul for Wade Taylor the fourth, a young man who over 4 years produced over 2,000 points, 498 assists for the Aggies of Texas A&M. We watch him get into the body of Sebastian Thomas, count it, and a free throw.
Checking in for Roger Brown, number 11, Kobe Johnson.
Kobe Johnson comes in for Caden Shedrick.
One shot, Wade Taylor,
The 6'6" forward from UCLA out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Taylor's foul shot is good. No stranger to making them at Texas A&M. In fact, 536 made free throws in his collegiate career.
Incredible, really.
You got a foul underneath as they try to throw it into Julian Reese.
foul start to Mike Williams, number 20, Samson Johnson, the second.
Julian Reese just finds a way to be productive.
Yeah, he's really active, and he does a really good job positioning his body and just making himself available in the paint.
6'9", a 250-pound forward from the Terps of Maryland who made the Sweet 16. Had it for a moment. Now it's Khalif Battle with a step-back three in the corner. No good. Rebounded underneath by Jemiah Neal. Neal changing hands with the dribble. Goes between the legs. Looks to work it on Kobe Johnson. And it's going to be a turnover. Johnson gets it, but he gives it right back. Lob for Samson Johnson. That's Slamson Johnson.
That's what he does.
79-78. We've got ourselves a one-point ball game. So Roger Brown's lead was 16. Now it's 4. There's a three-pointer.
Terrence Edwards answers.
Quiets the momentum. He's up to 12 as Edwards. Neal with the handle. It's going to be blocked from behind by Julian Reese, who did a lot of that during his college career. 114 blocks the past 2 seasons, go with 72 steals, and we've got a stoppage in play with 5:14 to go, so we'll take 1-2. 82-78, Roger Brown's in the lead here at the PIT.
Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
(82-78). Roger Browns leads Mike Duman here in our 6th game of 12 at the 71st annual PIT. Let's watch this block again. Julian Reese. Oh, it goes off his head, and that had to hurt.
Yeah. Deflected twice.
4-point lead for Roger Browns as Reese has been all over the court today. 15 points, 8 rebounds. Say Edwards with 22 points, but has fouled out.
Yeah.
For Mike Duman. They will be without him down the stretch. Roster's 8 players per team. What's that do, Jordan, for Mike Duman trying to make this comeback and erase the 16-point deficit? You don't have your leading scorer here.
So interestingly enough, I think it might actually be, it can be a blessing and a curse because you have the same guys in there, they develop a rhythm, whereas maybe they were subbing out part of the time because everyone kind of has to get a look. So we'll see. Maybe Mike Duman with a guy down is going to look a little bit better. We'll see.
There was that slam from Samson Johnson moments ago. Our crew down on the floor giving you some excellent shots, giving you the action here from the PIT. Wade Taylor the fourth inbounding the basketball. Pulakidis now with it. Fall away, it's going to rim out, rebounded by Julian Reese. Shedrick's got it.
This Edwards looking to make a move.
Step back three for Terrence as the shot clock went down to 1. It's going to be no good. Rebounded by Brakefield.
Jemiah Neal.
Neal rises up but can't get it to fall. Rebound now for Hogard and company. Up ahead to Shedrick. Hogard gets it back. Reese looking to set the screen. He'll enter it in. Edwards to Shedrick as we near the 4-minute mark. Hogard using the left hand, getting right to the basket. Doesn't get the finish, and the rebound is collected by Jemiah Neal. Way till the 4th. Stop, pop. His 3-ball doesn't go. Rebounded by Julian Reese. We've not seen in this game here Jordan Darius Johnson, number 9, from Mike Duman, the 6'1" guard from Central Florida. So their bench pretty much is, correct me if I'm wrong, it's limited to essentially 6 players, right?
So yeah, even further adding to the point I was making, just we have one guy fouling out and another guy who's not available. So there's only one guy on the bench right now, so everyone can find a shooting rhythm.
Hogard hits the shot, and he is just in a shirt, no jersey. So I'm not sure if there was an injury sustained earlier in the tournament that has him unavailable. 6-point lead for Roger Browns. We'll take a timeout with them. 3:32 to play at the Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament.
Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
You're watching exclusive coverage of the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament, available on WGNT TV across Hampton Roads and through Prep Spin, alongside Jordan Maka, Matt Hatfield here with you. 6-point lead for Roger Brown's Restaurant, trying to even their record to 1-1 in this event. Mike Duman hoping to avoid falling to 0-2, but they've got to get some work done here as they were once down by 16. They've shaved it to 6. They have possession of the basketball. Another timeout. John Pulakidis, the Yale 3-point shooter. Yeah, they talked about it from Yale. Hit the 3, going to make the fans from Yale yell his name loud and proud. 3-point game.
Yeah, looking at post a double-double today.
Hogard going right down the lane for 2 to push the deficit back to 5.
So yeah, I'd like to point out just Pulakidis, a lot of his movement without the ball. It's really impressed me.
Jemiah Neal over to Pulakidis. being hounded by Khalif Battle, and just his in-your-face, in-your-space defense helping cause the turnover. Kobe Johnson over to Battle, and then Battle goes right to the cup for 2 off the glass. So Battle was hot in the first half, quieted down in the third quarter, but now picking up the pace again. He's up to 21.
You can't let him get out in transition. That's the moral of the story.
That one goes between the legs of Neal on the pass from Taylor, so a turnover gives it back to Roger Browns with a 7-point cushion. Although, is it much of a cushion in a game like this where threes can turn it into a 1-point game in the blink of an eye?
Can erase that lead very quickly.
Hogard trying to direct the offense here. Hesitation move, but Samson Johnson blocks him from behind. A.J. Hogard just shaking his head. Gets it into Caden Shedrick. Now Battle back to Hogard, the Vanderbilt guard. Trying to attack on Poulikitis. He hesitates, kicks it out. 2 on the shot clock. Battle beating the horn, but it's going to be tapped by Shedrick. They're going to call a foul, I think, as he got a piece of Samson Johnson's hand. Now I'm sure that's just the second team foul in this quarter. So not free throws. Does stop the clock, however, with 2:03 to play. If you're new to viewing the PIT, if the game is tied at the end of regulation, there's now an Elam ending. What does that mean? The target score is determined by adding 8 points to the score at the end of the fourth period. The team to score 8 points first in overtime wins. So that's how it goes with no clock in overtime.
Love that aspect of it. I'm used to this with TBT, but yeah, it really makes basketball way more exciting. It's not a free throw shooting game at the end of contests. I think it's just better for basketball in general.
3-pointer from the wing with from Johnson was no good. Now it's Taylor up ahead. Those wondering if they're not basketball fans that are novices out there, they're hearing the TBT, that's the basketball tournament. Folks that are unfamiliar with that. As it's a 3-pointer miss from Battle, it's going to be out of bounds.
Which is where the Elam ending was innovated originally.
Yeah.
So it's kind of come around. It's coming full circle now. It's making its ways with some NBA events as well.
Different. Generally played in the summer.
Yes. In July. Yep. And finishing in August.
Another timeout is called, so we'll take 1, 2, 80 seconds to go. Mike Duman down by 7 against Roger Browns in our first game of 3 today on this Friday on Easter weekend at the PIT.
Here for Portsmouth Peace Week.
Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
Back here at the 71st Annual PIT, Roger Browns on top of Mike Duman 88-81 with 1:20 to play. Roger Browns set to inbound the basketball. No timeouts left for them, according to the scoreboard here. Caden Shedrick gets it back on the return feed, and what a nice pinpoint pass from Hogard, and a really heads-up play for Shedrick.
Shedrick's been super active. Love the way he rim runs.
Taylor's going to lose it off his leg with Kobe Johnson playing some sticky defense.
Notice how they've focused in on Taylor after he started hitting all those shots. They're not going to let him beat them.
Edwards gets it in, Battle working the sideline.
1 minute remaining.
Under a minute to go in regulation. Battle at the controls.
He wants this one-on-one matchup right here.
Probably should have got the basketball in that sequence. Pulakidis got the rejection. Now there's a dunk in transition the other way with Jemiah Neal. Those are the type of plays that will drive coaches crazy because you get a hoop there, or even not a hoop, you use more clock.
Yeah.
You put them at bay, but now you got to make some free throws, and it's not out of the woods just yet if you're Roger Browns. Taking nothing from what has been a relatively splendid effort, though, for Battle with 21 points to lead all scorers today.
He's definitely turned it around. Still, the three-point shooting is something he's going to have to address, I guess, in other types of events.
For sure at 2 of 10 today. Julian Reese with a double-double of 15 points and 10 rebounds. He had 16 points and 9 rebounds yesterday, so he's edging his way closer to all-tournament consideration or recognition.
Absolutely.
First 2 free throws good for Hogard.
He's impressed in both games, double-double here.
Hogard now with it. Second foul shot is good. Another timeout is used. 36.6 seconds to go. Roger Browns 92, Mike Duman 83 at the Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament.
Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
Under a minute to play. Roger Brown's Restaurant on top of Mike Duman 92 to 83. And youngsters getting down to the DJ here with the Peace Week shirts. Having themselves a fun time. Mike Duman trailed by as many as 16. Did get it down to a couple of possessions, but running out of time here. Needing a three-pointer to fall. Pulakudis step back jumper inside the arc is good for the Yale guard. As he's up to 17 points on the day, John Pulakidis.
Foul starts from Mike Duman, number 7. Wade Taylor, the 4th.
Wade Taylor, the 4th, being charged with the quick foul.
What do you think is our best shot to even try to get this even or close to even?
Besides buying the scratch-off lottery ticket? No. You see Battle, who is a nearly perfect foul shooter, 93.2%.
So
I
not
didn't
that.
jinx him. I didn't get the announcer's jinx. He's missed one today.
So
He'll
not
miss some
that.
free
Don't
throws.
foul him.
And you got to get some quick threes and get a turnover, not just fouling here because you're playing catch-up. And Battle hits them both. And while they're playing catch-up, they're going to try to muster up the energy here. There's a steal for Shedrick. And that's going to do it.
Yes.
They get fouled again with a Hogard headed to the line. 17.3 seconds to go.
At the line for Roger Browns, AJ Hogard.
Hogard's first foul shot is good. Second free throw is going to rattle around, no good. Rebounded by Brakefield. And we're going to keep it here with this timeout with 16.2 seconds to go. As they play on just getting the timeout in, but Wade Taylor the fourth inbounds it to Pulakidis. It's all the way to the cup for two off the glass, 95-87.
Looks like it'll do it.
Battle has the basketball. We go behind the back with the dribble. And that will do it for our first game on this Friday. Semi-final games to come. This consolation is won by Roger Browns, 95-87. Khalif Battle with 23 points to lead the way. 19 points for A.J. Hogard. A double-double of 15 points for Maryland's Julian Reese. The 15 and 10 from him in defeat. Say Edwards of Georgia State with 22 points before fouling out. John Pulakidis with a double-double of 19 and 10. He from Yale, and Wade Taylor the fourth with 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. Final thoughts there, Jordan?
Yeah, I thought it was an impressive contest. I thought everyone caught fire in the third quarter. And it was just a really up and down game. I enjoyed both teams, and I enjoyed the pace. I enjoyed how everyone was focused in and locked in. And it was just another exciting PIT contest.
It means Roger Browns will take on Sales Systems in the consolation game, 5th place, 1 o'clock Eastern on Saturday, and the 7th place consolation at 11 a.m. Eastern Saturday will be Norfolk Sports Club versus Mike Duman. We thank our entire team with Prep Spin and WGNT. Matt Hatfield here signing off from Churchland High School in Portsmouth. Don't forget, semifinal games come your way at 7 o'clock Eastern right here from the PIT.